Welcome, folks. We are back with another episode of Quizzing in America. I am Jeremy Conman. I am your host. And this week I have with me Bill Patschak, the founder and creator of BPtrivia, which is based out of Maryland. Welcome, Bill. Thank you for joining me. And not just Bill, but we have Luke also, who writes and works and hosts for BPtrivia, going to be on the call and jumping in a little later as well. But Bill, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeremy. I was excited when you invited me on, and I'm glad we can have a chance to chat about this.
Absolutely. So we've known each other for quite a while now. What was your first? Would you make it out for the? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, probably almost a decade now. It was T-Kona 3. So I don't know
Okay,
what.
so that was 2013.
Okay.
T-Kona 1 was 2011. So yeah, so we've known each other for over a decade now. That's what I thought. And you were already hosting trivia nights at that point when you came out, right?
I was hosting trivia nights. I don't know if I was writing or doing any like management or sales or any like major upkeep with the companies or anything, but I was definitely hosting trivia at the time. I don't remember exactly when I started. I know that I was working at the movie theater at the time, and then I was playing bar trivia, and I was like, this looks fun and something else I can do because I worked at the movie theater from like 2006 to 2013. So I'm very good at movie trivia from 2006 to 2013 because of it. But I think that I started hosting trivia right after I was like the end of my movie theater career. So probably like 2013. I might have just started.
Okay, and that was for Whorehouse Trivia, which is another local company in the Maryland area, right?
Yeah, so I'm based in Frederick, Maryland, and Poorhouse Trivia is based in Frederick, Maryland too. And that was just like the trivia company that started in Frederick when I started wanting to play bar trivia. And I got to meet the owner. His name is Denny. He's a great dude. I liked his game a lot. We played a whole lot. And then after playing his game for about a year or two, I was like, I want to do this. This is fun. I like trivia. I like talking to people. I like writing trivia questions. I like being a part of all this. What can I do with you and for you? So I came on as a trivia host. I started picking up more nights. I started picking up writing. I started doing set crafting. And then I just like spiraled into like basically, I don't want to say owning the company, but I was like doing a lot of the management with Poorhouse Trivia after a while there, up through until the pandemic started.
And right before the pandemic started, like you were going to create which you have created, but bptrivia.com, which is an online trivia website where people can go and play, and I play there regularly. It's a lot of fun. You came up with the idea for that. You were going to start that. Was that in 2019 or in 2020? Because I know we're basically at the 5-year anniversary right now, right?
Yeah, we just hit the 5-year anniversary this month, February 2025. Our first live quiz on the online website went live in like mid-February 2020. It was an idea that my buddy Colin Crampton and he's a buddy from high school. He is a web developer slash programmer kind of dude. And he was bored at work, was basically the vibe I got. He's like, I have lots of web development knowledge and lots of time on my hands. Is there a project you would like to do that might be fun? And I mentioned like doing like a trivia website. I'm like, we could write trivia. I mean, I host trivia. We could write trivia. And this conversation happened near like the end of 2019 and was completely unrelated to the pandemic that we didn't even know was coming. Like,
Yeah.
I don't follow the news. Like, news is not a thing. Like,
in 2019, I don't think anybody foresaw this. Like the end of 2019 is when it first started to really make headlines, and I don't think anybody saw what was coming.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd never experienced anything like it. I had barely heard of it. By the time we started the website BPtrivia, it seemed like it lined up with the pandemic. It's like, oh, okay, the pandemic started, so you're going to do an online trivia website, so because the pandemic is here. And actually, and I think you mentioned this when you first started talking about BPtrivia way back in the day. I remember you ran a big pub quiz at Joe's Bar in Chicago.
Yeah,
and
that is correct.
You were pimping the hell out of my brand and I loved it. It was very, very nice of you. But you were talking about, it's like, this started even before the pandemic started. This was not I need something to do because I'm bored and have no money or any time or anything, or I have all the time in the world. This was just like a thing that we wanted to do alongside of anything else we were doing. And then it just so happens that when the pandemic hit like a month later and we shut down everything, I lost my job. Like, I couldn't host trivia anymore. I couldn't write trivia anymore. Everything I was doing with Poorhouse Trivia was put on hold. And I was like, well, I guess I have this website and we don't need to leave the house to do website stuff. I'm just going to pour a lot more heart and soul and time into this website. So BP
Yeah.
Trivia, yeah. So BP Trivia Online turned into, instead of like, I was doing like one quiz a month, like 100 questions. And then it turned into some blitz quizzes and the championship series. And we started inviting people. And then during the pandemic, we started charging people because we're like, hey, we have a legitimate business model and we're not doing anything else. This is our full-time thing. And it just kind of spiraled from there, which was super cool.
And you have some of the best trivia players on the planet that play BP trivia pretty regularly. Like, if anybody out there watches The Chase, Brandon Blackwell, the Lightning Bolt, Victoria Gross, the Queen, right? They are regular players of BP trivia.
Yeah, and you don't have to watch The Chase to know Victoria now because she's
that's true. She's the Jeopardy master, right? I mean, that is amazing.
She had the best 2024. Her 2024 was like the best quizzing year of any person ever because she had just finished airing The Chase, got invited to the Jeopardy Invitational, won that, won Masters, won the World Quiz, which I don't think an American has ever won.
No, and I think I likened her to, I never got to see Mozart play the piano. I did get to see Michael Jordan play basketball. Watching Victoria quiz is kind of an equivalent. I know that seems like a stretch, but she's that good, right? I think she's that good.
She is, and I tell you what's amazing, and she'll probably hate me for saying this because it's going to make her very blush a whole lot, but she's also just like the nicest person.
That is, yeah. It's like
in the world, she's such a sweetheart. She's so humble and she's fantastic. And like, you couldn't ask for a better person to put on this pedestal of like, you're the best quizzer, at least currently, if not of all time.
No, yeah, and it's unusual to find somebody who is like the best at what they do, and also one heck of a nice guy. Like Michael Jordan, great basketball player. Not maybe the nicest guy sometimes from what you hear, if you believe the stories, but Victoria is wonderful. So you've got BP Trivia. It's an online thing. The pandemic comes out, we're going back to live games, and then you have live BP Trivia at bars and everything, right? So now, how many venues do you have going in Maryland?
Yeah, so right now we're at about 20 venues, which isn't, I mean, it's not terrible. We started in May 2021, like right after like vaccines started coming out and stuff started settling down and we could actually get back out there. I started with like 2 or 3 venues in May 2021, just like, well, this is a whole thing that I don't feel like getting into, but
yeah, we don't have to get into all the nitty gritty, but
the gist of it was that a bar that I hosted trivia at for Poorhouse Trivia called me and said, we're ready to start trivia back up. Do you want to come work for us? And I had already decided about halfway into BP Trivia and not doing Poorhouse that I didn't want to come back to Poorhouse. Not because I had any issue with them, but just because I was so invested in my own brand and my own game.
Yeah.
I hadn't even considered hosting trivia anymore or live trivia.
I actually vividly remember having a conversation with you about that. And when you did, somewhat reluctantly say, you know what, I'm going to do this. At that point, you were hosting all the games and you didn't want to grow beyond what you could host. Like you had, I think, flat out told me that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I had no, like, I mean, I don't know what it was supposed to turn into. Like, it started as like one venue asked me to host a trivia game. And I said to them, I don't work for Poorhouse. So, I mean, I'm not gonna host. And he's like, well, I'm not looking for Poorhouse. I'm looking for you. Like, what are you doing? And that kind of like gave me an opportunity to think about something. I'm like, do I want to do a live BP trivia game? Like, he's basically saying you can come do this. And as long as it's you, you can do whatever you want. So like, I could make my own game. I could run my own thing. And I was already doing basically everything with Poorhouse. I was crafting the sets. I was doing venue sales. I was hosting. I was like, basically, I learned everything I needed to run my own company, which sounds terrible because like I feel bad that like I was, I learned everything I needed to with Poorhouse, so I moved away and started my own thing. But like it just kind of was just where the path.
It was just a natural progression, and like you said, Denny's a good guy. I think there's no animosity between the two of you, and Poorhouse is still running strong, and there's plenty of room for multiple trivia companies. I mean, I'm in Chicago. We have no fewer than a dozen trivia companies that run anywhere from 1 to 2 games a week to 100 games a week. So
Yeah, and I called Denny when this happened because I felt bad because it is an awkward situation. I had to call Denny and say like, "Hey, this venue called me. They wanted to host trivia. I told him I didn't want to do Poorhouse trivia anymore," which he didn't know at the time that I was done with Poorhouse, but I
Yeah,
hadn't talked to him in like a year and a half and just kind of decided on my own and was kind of avoiding a hard conversation. But I told
sure.
him, I'm like, "Hey, I'm not coming back to Poorhouse. I like this BP trivia thing. I just want to let you know." And he's like, "Yeah, that makes sense. It's all good, bud. Whatever." And I'm like, "Another thing I have to tell you is that the venue I was hosting with you wants me to come back and host, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it as BP trivia." And that stirred up a little something, which was not good for a short time. It was kind of just like a shock. And like, we've talked about it since. I've had like dinner with Denny and chatted with him about it. He was more bothered, not bothered, but just like sad about the fact that he lost, hanging out with me. Like we were like great friends and like kind of in this together. And it sucks that, we weren't working together anymore and that we weren't doing this together anymore. And it just kind of, it hurt his feelings, which makes sense. And I felt bad about and tried to apologize. I think Hatchet has been buried. I'm still
Yeah.
playing Poorhouse Trivia regularly. I like the game. I like Denny. They are the biggest trivia company probably in Maryland. Definitely in Frederick, probably in Maryland. They have over 100 venues. They're doing fine.
Well,
With
then, yeah, he's doing great, and hopefully someday I can have Denny on Quizzing in America. We'll have a Poorhouse game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
And I'm
know,
sure he would love to. And he's a good dude. And the Mike loves him too. You'll have a fun time chatting with him. He comes from an acting background. I don't know if you know this about Denny. He's an actor.
no, no,
Yeah.
that's great.
So,
Yeah, well, listen, I think acting and improv lend themselves well to hosting trivia. I had Johnny Goodtimes on the first episode, and he also has kind of a performance background. Do you have any? Have you done any performance or improv or acting or anything in your background or radio, TV?
that was like my dream when I was in middle school, high school. Like I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to sing. I wanted to dance. Like, yeah. So like I did all the high school musicals and like and even in college, I did musicals. I took acting classes. I did improv stuff. Like that was like the thing I wanted to do. And then after a while, I kind of just realized I'm like, I'm not that good at this. It's just kind of a hobby. So I need to get realistic, which is unfortunate because like I love that world. I love, Broadway stage and movies and all that stuff. But
Absolutely, it's great. Listen, if you ever have free time, and I know now you have a son and you got the business, but even if you just have a little bug, if you go take an acting class, sometimes that like helps. I've taken some improv and acting classes, and they are so much fun, and it's such a great creative outlet. Now, so you're writing trivia not just for the website but for the live games. Do you have a process? Like, how do you come up with your questions? When people find out what I do, that's the first thing. How do you write all your questions? Where do you get your stuff? Is there something that like you do regular? Like, my thing is, oh, hey, today's February 21st. Let me go to Wiki, see who was born today, and then like it'll spiral from there, and I'll get to something that, like, oh, that'll be a fun question.
yeah, so I sometimes I make notes about things I hear, but that's not the majority of anything I'm writing. Basically, I just at some point in my life, I found lots of bad trivia questions, just like from different sources. You can find like banks of thousands of thousands and thousands of questions. I have probably over 100,000 just random trivia questions, but I can't use them because they're not good. Like you need to rewrite them. They're not interesting. Sometimes they're inaccessible. But I have a document that I put 100,000 questions on. And basically, when I need to write questions, I have them sorted by category, and I'll see a question. And it'll be like, what's the capital of Iceland? Is the question. And I can't ask that because that's boring and who cares about that. But that gives me the inspiration to write a question about Iceland or Reykjavik, or maybe something adjacent that I have in my head, like the volcano that exploded there that I don't remember the name because it's got 17 syllables.
I don't think anybody remembers the name. We just
Yeah.
remember it was really long and hard to pronounce.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
a question will be like, like who won an Oscar for Rain Man, and maybe I'll turn that into like, oh, I love Dustin Hoffman. Let me write a Dustin Hoffman question, like, and then I'm like, oh, one of my favorite movies is The Holiday. The Holiday, Nancy Meyers, 2006. One of my favorite holiday movies. He has a random cameo in this movie, which is cute.
Oh,
And
I didn't
like,
know that.
yeah, so they're at the Blockbuster or like whatever the video store is, and they're trying to pick out a movie to watch, and they're arguing over The Graduate. They're like, "Should we watch The Graduate? I love this movie." She's like, "I don't know if I like this movie." Oh, but the soundtrack is so good, blah blah blah. And then for like 2 seconds, the camera cuts to Dustin Hoffman just like in the store.
Renting a movie.
Yeah, and he just like laughs at them while they're having this conversation and goes back to himself. He doesn't have a line or anything. It's just that. It's like a 2-second clip.
And is he, I guess, playing himself then? Is
I
that the
I think
gist of it?
I think the vibe is that like they're having a conversation about a Dustin Hoffman movie, and Dustin Hoffman is just like listening to their conversation and laughing about it.
Yeah.
But like it's so quick and so random. I don't remember the backstory of it. I would have to read more about it, but I feel like he was just like there when they were taping, and they're like, "Oh, we can do a graduate Dustin Hoffman kind of scene here and improvise a little and have him show his face a little bit." But the point I'm making is that the question might be bad, like who won an Oscar for Rain Man, and I might take that and run with it and be like, what movie has Jack Black as a movie film score writer and Kate Winslet trades places? For a 2-point bonus, maybe on this one, what actor has a cameo at the video shop when they're having conversation about his movie? Or maybe I'll ask about the graduate. Like I use this bank of thousands of questions and the questions that I have played so much over the last 20 years to basically create more interesting versions of anything that I can find. And I know, Jeremy, I know you are good at this. Like, this is a thing you've done. I've seen you host full live trivia games in front of a crowd with no script.
Yeah, I love to improvise. I love to, in fact, I've got an event tomorrow night, and people like, I don't know what I'm going to ask yet, and I won't know what I'm going to ask until I get up there on the mic and I start asking questions. Like it's just the way my mind works.
It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen, because you'll be like, okay, who wants to pick the next category? Someone's like, British monarchs. You're like, okay, well, here's the British monarchs question I have for you. Okay, who is the 9 days queen? She served in 1553, yada yada. Because you've played so much trivia and you're so quick on your feet like that you could literally just make up a trivia game as you go. That's kind of what my writing is like. So but like these questions give me direction, the same as you would say, like, what category you want. This would just tell me, like, what do I want to ask about? I want to ask a Dustin Hoffman question. And then it'll turn into my question about the holiday or something.
Now, are there types of questions that you don't like? Like, I don't like multiple choice. I don't like, are there questions you don't like or questions you do like, just types of questions, before and after, same name, stuff like that?
I hate multiple choice questions. If your question needs multiple choice, it's too hard or stupid. Like, there are exceptions. Like, some questions need multiple choice. Like, which one of, like, what the first trivia game I ever wrote, like, Denny gave me a chance to write and run my own trivia game before I even worked for him. And I remember I wrote this question, which I thought was interesting, and it was multiple choice, but it was required of the question. It was, which of these 5 colors are not an official Crayola crayon color?
Oh yeah.
And you can't ask that without multiple choice, because otherwise you're like, oh, well, what am I supposed to guess? But I picked some of the obscure ones like laser lemon and macaroni and cheese and razzmatazz. And the one I made up was called Snow White, which sounds like it could be a color.
Oh, that sounds like it could be a color. Absolutely.
So I remember it was like, which of these is not a color? Laser lemon, razzmatazz, macaroni and cheese, Snow White, or inchworm or something. And but like that multiple choice, it lends itself to having multiple choice. But like a lot of the times I'll play bar trivia and it'd be like, here's a question, and if you don't know it, we'll have a multiple choice for you. And it's like, why are you asking this if we need a multiple choice? And like, I had this question once. It was the worst question I'd ever heard. It was like,
I'll tell you, as long as we're talking about bad questions, I play a lot of trivia. I will tell you about a question I had at a game. First time I was playing this company's game, and they had a question, and they had a couple questions, which I won't name the company, but the question was, what is considered Bradley Cooper's first movie?
What is considered?
What is considered Bradley Cooper's first movie? Now, that's how it was worded. So right away, I went up to the host and I said, when you say considered, you don't actually want his first movie, because I happen to know what his first credited movie was.
What is it?
It's Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh, okay. I know he is in that. I didn't know that was his first.
That's his first credited big screen role. Like, I think he might have had like an uncredited appearance somewhere that might have been before that, but that's his first actual role, right?
So that should be the answer they want, right?
That should be, but they said considered. So I'm thinking, I don't know. Do they want Wedding Crashers? Because that was like the first movie where like I think people really noticed who he was and like knew, oh yeah, the guy from Wedding Crashers. Or do they want like The Hangover, which was like the movie that made him kind of a household name and a star? It turns out they wanted The Hangover.
Okay, yeah, that's terrible.
That's a horrible question, right? I'm like,
well, here's the thing: you can even ask it, but like give a year and say like first lead role.
Yeah. Say that Bradley Cooper. What 2000? I don't remember what year it came out.
I would guess 2009, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, right around
that. I hope that's right, because I pride myself on being very good at movie years, especially between 2006 to 2013.
Yeah, where's that movie knowledge?
Luke, look that one up for us. See when The Hangover came out.
Find out when The Hangover came out.
My guess is 2009.
I think you're right, because I think 2011 was Hangover 2. So 2009
Yes.
makes a lot of sense.
You're both
Was it?
right. Yeah, 2009, and then part 2 was 2011.
All right, there you go. So yeah, so what 2009 comedy made Bradley Cooper a household name or a major box office star? That's The Hangover, right? What is considered Bradley Cooper's first role? No,
Terrible.
just yeah, that's a horrible question.
Yeah, so the multiple choice question that I played was like, so the company I was playing this one time, I won't mention the company for this one. I never want to like make anyone feel bad, but we want to talk about, we always want to talk about like what was bad at trivia. So the question was like, what I think it was like, what seeds do you put on the roof, or like what plant do you put on the roof to keep vampires out of your house? Like an old superstition or a legend, you put what kind of like plant? Or
garlic.
Seed? So our thought was garlic. Our thought was garlic.
Sure.
Yeah. But the way it was set up is that you can answer for more points, but if you don't know it, we'll give you a multiple choice.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I assume garlic, but we'll wait for the choices because we don't know, and maybe like whatever. So the choices come out, and the choices are like sesame seeds, garlic, I think is one of the choices, mustard seeds, and like something else. And we're like, okay, well, I mean, if this isn't garlic, this is a terrible question. I don't know what else.
Yeah, like please tell me the answer was garlic, but I'm guessing it was not.
The answer was mustard seeds.
I don't know how that happens. Like,
right. Well, so like if you ask a question about like what keeps vampires away, and the answer is not garlic, the multiple choice isn't even helpful, especially if you put garlic
especially if you put garlic in the multiple choice. Then you're just asking. Then you're asking what I consider to be a trick question. And I don't think there should be trick questions in trivia. You shouldn't be trying to get people to answer questions wrong. Your goal is to get people to get the right answers. You don't want them to get every answer, but you want them to be able to, have that aha, oh, I should have gotten that, or I should have known that, right?
Well, there are strange cases where trick questions are fun, and you know what I'm talking about. Your favorite question of mine.
That's not a trick question. That's my mind playing a trick on me. That's a great question. It is one of my all-time favorite questions, and I got it wrong, and I still hate you for it.
Do you want to tell it, or should I tell it?
I will tell it. The question is, how many U's are there in the state capital of New Mexico? Now, in my defense, this was on a Blitz quiz. This was like one of the first Blitz quizzes I ever played on bptrivia.com. When you're playing a Blitz quiz, time is of the essence. So I saw that question immediately. And of course, how many U's are in the Albuquerque? And then you're trying to spell it. And I was like, is it 2 or 3? I don't know. I'm just going to put one of them. And then, of course, when you hit submit, you go, oh, damn it. The capital of Albuquerque is Santa Fe. There are 0 U's in it. That's not a trick question. That's a brilliant question, if you ask me.
It was meant to be a trick question. You wouldn't ask how many U's are in the name of a city if it has no U's, unless you're trying to trick someone. But
but it's not like you can know the capital of New Mexico. So if you get it wrong, it's not because the answer was unobtainable. It's because you didn't think through the question.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I like it.
I like that one too, and I'm glad that like has been cemented as like your favorite question, even though you were so angry and you missed it. but
I was angry at me, right? Like I was angry at you for asking it only because I missed it and I felt dumb. Also because I think you know this, one of my passions or hobbies is I have been to all 50 state capitals, and I am very into government and visiting Capitol buildings and learning the history of states. And actually I wrote a series of quizzes for BP Trivia about every state in the union. So, like I happen to like learning about all the different states. And, that's why I've gone around the country and played trivia in almost every state. I am at 46. I realized I think I was at a trivia night in North Dakota, but didn't play. So I'm taking that one off the list. I've been saying 47, but I'm really at 46 states that I've played trivia. And so, doing this podcast, I'm going to get to play trivia in all 50 states, even if I'm not physically there, because I'll find somebody in North Dakota to get on and run me a quiz, but I still have to get to North Dakota and play in North Dakota for it to count. So
I like that a lot. I like that. So like some people are like, how many states have you been to? And like, does it count if you've had a layover? Does it count if you drive through it? But having to physically play a quiz in a state is a good cement as like, I have been here. I have stepped foot here. You also do the picture in front of the Capitol, which is nice.
Yes. Yeah. So, and like I said, I've been to all 50 states, been all 50 capitals, you know, I've been to all the baseball stadiums. Now I got to play trivia in all the states. Then I'll have to get another list that I do. So tell me about the BP trivia bar game. What is the format? How do you play? And then we'll get into a game, and Luke will join me, and Luke and I will play a BP trivia game.
Yeah, can we actually backpedal back into the conversation we were just having?
Sure.
I had something to add to that. So my philosophy as a trivia writer, there's things that I am thinking in my head, and anytime I write a trivia question, I ask myself, what am I expecting the player to know in this question? Like what are they supposed to know in this question to be able to get the answer? If the answer is nothing and they just want them to guess a thing, like, I think that's stupid. Like you should never want to like write a question. And so like the mustard seed question, like what are you expecting someone to know in this question? Like, are you expecting them to know that there's this old legend that you use mustard seeds on your roof to keep vampires away? Because if that's the expectation that you need to know that to get this question right, I would have to check that reference and see how famous that is. So like I would look up the Wikipedia page for mustard seed or the legend of mustard seed and see how long it is. Or I would check the J archive. I check Jeopardy a lot to see how often something comes up, to see how relevant it is. If something's come up 20 times on Jeopardy, it's pretty safe to ask about it because that's basically like the canon of trivia in the United States. And like if it comes up on there a lot, you're safe to ask it. If that mustard seed thing came up on Jeopardy 50 times, then whatever. I can just be like, oh, well, I was just supposed to know that. That's fine. I'm struggling to understand what I was supposed to know about this mustard question. And I never want to write a question where somebody feels like, I don't know what I was supposed to know there. That was stupid. You can go ahead.
Sure. And I was going to say, if you're going to write something like that, then give another in to get the answer, right? Like if mustard seed is the answer, make a reference to, and listen, I'm not a religious person in any way, shape, or form, but I know that there's a parable of a mustard seed in the Bible. Like you can make some sort of biblical reference to maybe get people to that, or make a reference to Colonel Mustard in Clues somehow, or some way to, get it so people can go like, okay, there is a tie-in here that I can get, right?
Yeah, because sometimes it's fun to ask a trivia question about a thing that they don't know, but you give them a way to get it with knowledge that they do have and knowledge that you do expect them to have. Because teaching people about trivia is fun too, but like you can't just expect them to know everything that's obscure. But there's ways, like the way I would ask that question is like, according to an old fable, you would put mustard seed on your roof to repel what creatures, which normally you might use garlic. And like it's easy, but now you've learned that mustard seed is a thing.
Sure. And that's a good way to, introduce a new fact, but then not ask a question that's kind of basically impossible for 90% or more of your crowd. And those are not fun questions.
Yeah. And so like my database that I have of like the hundreds of thousands of questions, a question that I would see on there is just like, what used to keep away vampires? Answered mustard seed. And I'm like, I need to fix this question. I can't just ask this at bar trivia. This is stupid. So I would rewrite it. I would either throw it out or rewrite it in a way that makes it more accessible. And you can learn that fact.
So by the way, is your database all questions you've like, do you keep track of every question when you go play? I know some people have a notebook when they play trivia and they write down every question and then they enter it into a spreadsheet and they study that.
No, I don't have a study guide. I stopped studying trivia a while ago because I got burned out and I got bored doing it. I was really bad at trivia like a decade ago and all my friends were really good. So I wanted to get better. So I started studying and writing more and doing note cards and hitting the books. And I got to a point where I got comfortably good at trivia. Now I play enough and write enough that I don't care to get that much better. But the database is just based on like just things I find on the internet. You can Google like quiz database and I found like a thing with like 50,000 bad questions. And I just have been working my way through like transcribing them so often. And like I've written so many questions over the years that like I probably have 10,000 questions that I've written that I have in a spreadsheet. And like I mark ones that I've used and when I use them and if I can rework them or reuse them in a certain way. Like all the trivia questions I use for BP Trivia Live, a lot of them are recycled from questions that I wrote from Poorhouse. Not like,
verbatim the same, but yeah.
Yeah, but like I had about 3 or 4,000 questions that I wrote for them that are my property and my questions, and people probably wouldn't have played them if they're playing my game, because most people that played Poorhouse Trivia still play Poorhouse Trivia. So I can introduce questions that I have written that I am proud of, that are my property, to a new audience and write them in a way that makes them feel fresh. If anything didn't work the first time, I can make sure I can add hints or just not use it. So like, yeah, that is my process. And you can ask Luke about this. I shared this spreadsheet with him, and I think there's like 4,000 on the spreadsheet I shared with him, but I have another spreadsheet with like hundreds of thousands that I haven't even gotten to yet, that just aren't even in a format that can be put into the format that I showed him.
So, all right. So tell me then about BP trivia. Like, what is it? You have a question song format, right? Where you're going to ask a question, play at least a snippet of a song while people discuss the answer, and then turn it in, and then you go on to the next question, right?
Yeah, so BP Trivia Live, it's very similar to Poorhouse Trivia, because that's what I worked for originally. That's what I know.
Sure.
That's what I like playing. And I basically took everything about that game that I liked and took out anything I didn't like and added parts of other games that I liked, and sort of made this amalgam game into like things that I enjoyed playing. So like, if you don't like my game, that's fine. I'm telling you what I like. And if you like the same thing as me, you're welcome to play it. If you don't, no hard feelings. Like, I don't ever want to force anyone to play my game if they don't like it. I'm just saying this is what I like. And if you want to be a part of what I like and it's something that tickles your fancy,
Yeah.
please join us. But we do 5 rounds of trivia, 4 questions per round. And in between each round, in between each question, we ask one question, and then we'll say you have 2 minutes to answer this question. You discuss it with your team. You write down an answer. You put down a wager. If you get it right, you add points to your score. You turn it in. We'll read the answer. We'll go to the next question. I know a lot of companies do like a couple questions at once, maybe 3 or
Sure.
5 or 10. We do one at a time, because the live game it's meant to be more of a social thing, more of a hangout, more of enjoy, more of a talk to your friends kind of thing, than like a, rapid fire trivia in your face, always locked into this thing. Sometimes it's hard to like do 10 or 15 questions at once. Like, when I don't know, this is just like the best way that I found to give you a good mix of like having conversation about one thing, focusing, being social, letting people take breaks and do what they want to do. It's all just, it's a very different audience that I'm trying to write for than I would be for like the online game, or like what Learned League would do, or what, like, I don't know, any top tier would like. This is all just very social.
Well, and it should be, and to that end, you're also a pen and paper game. Since the pandemic, there's been a lot of trivia companies, especially some of the major ones like Sporkle and Geeks Who Drink. I know District have all gone to a phone-based game where people are answering on their devices at the bar. You're still a pen and paper game, old school, keep your phone away, which is another way for people to be social and interact, right? Because your phone's got to be away while you're playing trivia for the hour and a half or 2 hours the game takes.
Yeah, I really hate the phone games. I just don't think that they encourage conversation or being social. I've played those games, and like when you play with someone like my buddy Jeff King, who loves playing bar trivia, and he's very good at bar trivia. And when you have these phone games where they ask you a question, you have 30 seconds. It's always hard. There's just no incentive to not give Jeff the phone and let him play trivia while we talk.
Yeah,
like we're not playing trivia. Like, we're watching Jeff King play on his phone. I don't love it. The pen and paper game allows, like, and the fact that you have 2 minutes for one question, it allows people to try and figure it out. Like, I've played trivia with Jeff, and he knows most of the questions that I asked. If you guys don't know Jeff King, he's brilliant, and he's very
he
good
is brilliant.
But I've seen him play bar trivia, and he's very good at being the guy who will let you guys play, and you have 2 minutes to figure out this question. If you need help, tap me. I'm here. I'll make sure you guys don't do anything stupid, but I want you guys to enjoy yourselves, and I'm going to be here to help you out. So like, this is what's going to happen. You guys are going to be able to play trivia. You're going to have fun. If you get stuck, I can help you out. We're all going to have fun. We'll probably win, which is always fun too. We can talk about things. I can tell you why I know things. I can teach you things. Like, he's a great person to play bar trivia with. My wife, Christine, doesn't love playing with people she doesn't know, because she like doesn't know how people act. People do things the way they want to do it. She doesn't get a chance to play sometimes. They talk her out of answers. There's arguing. It's kind of like a hostile environment at times, but she loves playing with Jeff King because she knows that he'll be very, let her play and let her talk to him when she needs to, and do what he needs to do. And he's just a really good person to play trivia with. And
yeah, when I play with groups, especially groups of people that I don't know well, and I do that often because I play so much and I travel around, I always try and, if it's something I know right away, I just say, I'm pretty sure I know this one. Let me know if you want me to say it, or if you want to figure it out, and then I can direct, whatever. Like, because I want people to get the joy of trying to get that answer and figuring out the questions, right? Like that's the part of the fun.
Yeah, and I've tried to be that person on my bar trivia team. I play with just a couple. I play with Luke now. My buddy Chad plays with us and a couple others. And most of the questions I feel like I just know, like whatever. I'll sit back and like Chad will be trying to figure it out. He'll turn to me. He's like, "Do you know this one?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "All right, well, let me try to figure it out." I'm like, yeah. No worries.
All right.
I got you. If you need
well, let's play a BP trivia game if you've got one, and Luke can jump in and be my teammate for this game.
Yeah, let's do it. Like I was saying earlier, we do 5 rounds, 5 rounds of trivia, 4 questions per round. You're going to do a wager for each question. Your wagers for each round are 1, 3, 5, and 7. Wager high if you know you're right. Wager low if you are not sure. It's a confidence-based system. If the first question is 2 plus 2, if you know it's right, you'll write your 4 answer on there. Obviously, you'll put your highest available wager, your 7. If you get it right, you'll add those points to your score. We do 2-point bonuses on half the questions. So 4 questions per round, 2 of them will have an extra 2 points, which are usually an incentive to. Here's my philosophy on wagers versus bonuses. The wager is like a kind of like a base level trivia question. Like, are you familiar with this thing? Here's a thing that you should know. And the 2-point bonus is, let's take it one step further. Here's something that you need a little more experience or a little more experiential knowledge to be able to get. So I like doing a lot of like, what TV show has X, Y, Z, and Q? And for a 2-point bonus, what is the name of this character on this show? So it's like, one, it's like, oh, I've heard of this show. The 2-point bonus is like, oh, I've seen this show. I know it's this.
Sure. And do you have is there a halftime then too as well? Or is there something in between the rounds? Or
we have 5 rounds, and in between each round, there is a break. So after round 1, we do like usually a matching or a multiple choice or something, which I hate multiple choice, but like it works well on a pen and paper. We have a picture round after round 2. We have an audio round after round 3. After round 4, we do something called the 3-part question. And then at the end of the game, we have a final question. So I have like a small little mini game in between each round that kind of.
All right. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's do round 1. Luke, you ready to jump in and play with me?
Of course, I didn't get to play today. I play almost every day, and I didn't get to play today, so I'm excited to get a game.
Yeah, your venue like closed, right?
Yeah, the venue's still open, but they decided not to do trivia anymore, and I'm not really sure why. So we've been jumping around to a couple other Friday venues, but they're all not great.
Friday's not a big day for trivia. There's only a couple of games in Chicago on Fridays, I think. So
yeah, I think bars don't need, Friday patrons.
So. Yeah, I only do Monday through Thursday games because I figure they have enough business on Friday, Saturday that they don't need to pay us to bring people in. But
yeah, they should. You would hope if they're a successful bar. All right, so do we get all 4 categories for round 1 before we start?
Yeah, so I'll give you the first 4 categories. You'll write them down and follow along, and that way, if there's like a category that you don't like that's coming up, maybe you'll use a higher wager on the question beforehand because you're saving your lower wagers for that. I will say this is a bar trivia game that I've written to be social and fun, so it should be easier than anything else I've written. So like if you play my online game, that's specifically geared toward like top level trivia players like Victoria Gross, Brandon Blackwell, those kind of people. This is geared toward the everyman that hopefully you can enjoy yourself. So you should
some mediocre players like myself and Jeff King as well.
I think you should be able to get most of these questions right. If you don't, I will feel bad, but we'll see what happens.
I'll feel bad if I miss a lot of them, but go ahead.
Honestly, if you're missing stuff and I feel like they were accessible, that's probably good because it's challenging. So yeah, maybe you'll learn something. So here are your first round categories. We're going to start with failed invasions for round 1, question 1. Failed invasions.
Okay.
Round 1, question 2 is texting shorthand.
Oh, that's going to be maybe I'll get that. We'll see.
Texting shorthand. Round 1, question 3, we have 19th century literature.
All right.
19th century literature. I've gotten myself in the habit of repeating every category twice. So
that is always wise. Yeah. People will miss it the first time.
And round 1, question 4 is planetary history. Planetary history.
For a pop culture guy like me, this is not a lot of pop culture, but let's go. Failed invasions. Give me what you got.
All right. Here's your question. The site of a failed invasion in 1961, Bahia de los Cochinos, is the Spanish name for what inlet of the Gulf of Cazones, located on the southern coast of Cuba?
Oh, see, now you asked a whole lot of stuff there that sounded like stuff I'd never heard of and don't know. But I do know one thing about 1960s Cuba, especially early 60s. Luke, do you know what this is?
I believe I do. Should I say it or?
Go for it. I believe we'll get an oink oink from you.
Is this the Bay of Pigs?
That's invasion? What I would go with, and I would put 7 on that.
I agree.
Yeah. So we're gonna go 7 points on Bay of Pigs.
Bay of Pigs is correct. You have 7 points on your score.
All right.
So for the rest of the round, you'll have your 5, your 3, and your 1 left over because you can use each wager once per round. Here is your texting shorthand question, and there is a 2-point bonus associated with this one. Your question is, the texting shorthand 143 stands for what phrase derived from the number of letters in the phrase? Your 2-point bonus, what pop star released an album in 2024 entitled 143?
Okay, well, I mean, I certainly know what it means, right? I mean,
Sure.
yeah, I love you. I think we both know that. So we'll go
Yes.
5 points on that.
Of course.
And now for the bonus 2024 album pop star, I actually don't know this for sure. I think I know what it is. I think it's a woman for sure. Do you know who it is?
I don't think that I do. My pop music knowledge is non-existent. So
Okay, so I think it's Katy Perry, but like part of me is also like it might be like Olivia Rodrigo or Ariana Grande, or like they all release so many albums. It's not Chappell Roan, I know that.
yeah.
I know Katy Perry had an album, and I think that was it, but I'm
Yes,
not 100%.
there's definitely an out. And it was not very well received, if I recall correctly.
Yes, that is
towards the end of
also true.
I'm fine with Katy Perry. That's a good
All right,
guess.
so we will say "I love you" for 5, and Katy Perry is our
Sure,
bonus.
that seems like a Bill kind of question too.
That's true, actually. That's true.
For those of you that-
know your host.
For those of you that played online quiz with me like a decade ago, you know that my handle was Katy Perry. Do you remember that, Jeremy?
I do actually. Yes.
Yeah, and I wrote that lollipop tournament where the logo was Katy Perry with a lollipop.
Yeah.
Your texting shorthand 143 is "I love you," 1 letter, 4 letters, 3 letters. I love you for your wager's good. The 2024 album 143 is an album by Katy Perry.
All right. Very good.
Well done.
Good job. I thought that was hard. I don't know why you know that.
Oh, it is. It is hard. Like, I mean, modern music is hard for a lot of people.
But not you.
Well,
19th century literature coming up. 2-point bonus on here as well. Roger Chillingworth, Hester Prynne, and her daughter are major characters in what colorful 19th century novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne? 2-point bonus. What is the name of Hester's daughter?
I know both of these.
Okay, I only know the wager. I don't think that I know the bonus on this.
All right. So the book is
The Scarlet Letter.
that is correct, and I believe the daughter's name is Pearl. So we'll go 3 points for the Scarlet Letter and Pearl for the bonus.
Sure.
Those are both correct.
Yeah.
Final question, round 1, planetary history. Changes in the Earth's orbit around the sun, as well as the positions of the continents, causing a disruption in the flow of warm water ocean currents, have been shown to cause a snowball effect, leading to what geologic event?
So I'm wondering if this is a specific geological event or just like the broad term, because I want to say just ice age.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I mean, snowball Earth, right?
Yeah, no, I don't know this, and that is a very logical inference, and I'm going to say let's go for it. It's we saved our 1 point, right? So we lose, so it's only 1 point. So, yeah. All right, we're going to go with Ice Age.
Ice Age for 1 point is correct.
Oh,
Nice.
Good job, Luke. I don't know if I was getting that one.
So you guys are perfect after 1 round, 20 out of 20 points. After round 1, we would go into your handout round. We're going to skip that here. I actually, so I have the scores from I ran this game on Tuesday at my bars. I actually have the scores. So after we run this, you guys could see like where you rank.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Okay,
What
cool.
was the handout, just by the way? Like, give me a description of what it would have been.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. I might be able to like do a version of it on the call.
Yeah.
Oh, you can actually, I mean, you're going to know this. So you'll have fun with this. We'll just run it through. It's a matching handout. You have to match the Super Bowl winning team to their quarterbacks.
No, give me, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
even though I'm not a football guy anymore, I should be able to ace this. So
Yeah. So I'll give you the quarterback and you just tell me the team that they won the Super Bowl with.
it's done.
This
Cool.
is all you. Yeah, you go ahead and do this.
I'm all in on this.
Sounds good. And I will say, I don't know if any of these quarterbacks have multiple team championships.
Very, very few do. So,
Okay.
like Tom Brady would, if you have Tom Brady, you know.
He's not on here. I think
Yeah.
I feel like I would have specifically only had quarterbacks that had one team that matched, but we'll see what happens. So we'll run this by pretty quickly. You're pretty good at this, I hope. Number 1, Brett Favre.
Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers.
Good. Len Dawson.
Len Dawson's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Good. Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach's the Dallas Cowboys.
Good. Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon, the greatest Super Bowl team of all time. Now, he does have a second ring. He was Favre's backup with the Packers, but he was the starting quarterback for the Super Bowl 20 Chicago Bears shuffling crew.
Bears is what I have here. Good. Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson was the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, wait. hold on. I got to think about this for a second. Was Trent Dilfer was the starting quarterback for the Ravens. He also started for the Buccaneers, but when they went, Brad Johnson was the Buccaneers starting quarterback when they won the Super Bowl the first time.
Good. Jalen Hurts.
That is the Eagles.
Yep. Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer is the Ravens.
Good. Jim Plunkett.
Jim Plunkett's the Raiders.
Johnny Unitas.
Johnny U is the Colts, Baltimore Colts, not Indianapolis yet.
And your last is Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford is the Los Angeles Rams, right? Yeah, Los Angeles Rams.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. So it's funny. I stopped watching football about a decade ago. So when you got Len Dawson, Jim Plunkett, no problem. Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts, I have to think because I really don't pay attention to the NFL anymore.
Yeah, I love NFL. I know you stopped watching, but it's my favorite. Actually, I am huge on basketball too. Both basketball and NFL are my two favorites. But
yeah,
you're still a baseball guy, right?
Baseball is always number one. Basketball is number two now. Football is way down at the bottom. And really, I like the WNBA as much or more than the NBA. So
interesting. Are you a Bulls fan?
No, they kind of stink. I like good basketball. I'm a LeBron fan, to be honest with you. I'll root for whatever team he's on. So right now I like the Lakers, even though I don't like rooting for the Lakers.
That's fair. No, he's a good person to root for. You know what team I'm a fan of, yes?
I don't know if I do, actually.
Luke, do you know this? Do you know what basketball team I like? I thought this is like a prominent personality trait of mine. Like the same way that you love Sandra Bullock, Jeremy, I love basketball team.
No,
I don't think I know, actually.
I am a Houston Rockets fan.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. No, I did. I remember you mentioning this. Yeah.
Huge Houston Rockets fan. And that was based on the fact that when I was in college, I played a lot of NBA Live, the video game. And I was not an NBA fan. I was just a video game. Right? I like to play video games. And I got really good. And me and my buddy actually won a national championship in 2009. And I was like, I should get into this sport that I'm winning money playing the video game for. So I needed to pick a team to like. And the team that I won the championship with that year was the 2009 Rockets with Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. And I just decided they were going to be my team. And I've been a huge fan for the last 15 years.
I used to like the Cincinnati Bengals because I would win on Super Tecmo Bowl playing with them. And David Fulcher was their cornerback. And it was, that was so.
There you go. Yeah. So it's a good reason to like a team.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to round two. What are our categories?
Yep. We've got Maryland cities, a little local trivia.
Okay. Luke, that's all you.
Sure.
I'm just going to read them one time because I feel like you can keep up.
Sure.
I'll try and train myself to not say it twice for recording purposes. Recent TV shows is the second.
Okay.
U.S. landmarks is your third category.
All right.
And car news is your final category for round two.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Well, by the way, how much was it? 2 points per match or 1 point per match on the matching?
1 point. So 10 point handout.
All right. So we're at 30. Okay.
Yep.
Let's go for it. Maryland cities.
Yeah. The westernmost incorporated city in Maryland. What Garrett County city shares its name with the 8th most populous city in California?
Well, I mean, if you know this right away, go ahead, Luke. But I mean, I'm just listing California cities. See if I can.
I feel like I should know this, right?
I mean, so obviously you have like LA, San Diego, San Jose, San Francisco. Those are like, I think the 4 most populous cities in California. So then I'm trying to think like, is there an Oakland? Is there?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, it is Oakland. Yes.
Oh, all right.
Once you said that's out there.
All right. I don't know of
Creek,
Oakland, Maryland, but if you do, then let's go.
I'm pretty sure there's an Oakland, Maryland. I'm not guessing myself.
There you go. Let's go Oakland for 7 then. I have faith in you.
You're going 7 on Luke's guess?
He says he knows there's an Oakland. And Oakland sounds like a reasonable city to be the 8th largest city in California.
Oakland is correct.
All right.
Good job. That would have taken me way too long to pull that. I don't know. Nobody cares about Garrett County. There's nothing out there except a man-made lake.
That's fair. And you know what? I have faith in my partner, my teammate. So
Luke's a good trivia player. He puts in the work. He started doing it seriously like a year or two ago, and he's been hitting the cards and getting better. And he's
nice.
He's a good dude.
All right. Ask me about a recent TV show I've watched.
There's no way you watched this show. You should be able to get it. We'll see. All right. Airing on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Nope.
The Vanishing is the subtitle for season 2 of what TV show? Based on a series of spooky children's books from the 90s. And there is a 2-point bonus on this one. What 58-year-old actor stars as Anthony on this show's 2nd season?
Okay, so is there like a Goosebumps series, Luke? Do you know?
I vaguely remember a Goosebumps series recently, and that would line up with like a 90s horror. I mean, there's no other 90s horror series that would be a round two question, right? I think that this is Goosebumps, yeah.
Okay. And you said 58-year-old actor?
Yeah, 58 years old as the time of writing.
I don't know why I want to say that is Jack Black 58 now?
You know what? He could be. He's older than me, and I'm 50. So
okay, that's the first thing that came to mind, and I don't know why. But
and that is right up his alley. That's something he would do. I have no clue. We're going Goosebumps for 5, and we're going Jack Black.
All right. Goosebumps is the show. Season 2, The Vanishing. Season 1 of the Goosebumps show on Disney Plus had Justin Long as the main actor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He did not return for the second season. They had another big profile actor for the second season. There was a movie Goosebumps that came out about a decade ago where R.L. Stein, the author of the books, was played by Jack Black.
Oh, is that what I'm thinking?
Which is why he is in your head. Jack Black is in the Goosebumps movie. He is not on season 2, The Vanishing. Jeremy, you're going to kick yourself for this. I mean, I don't know how well you followed their careers after Friends.
Oh,
do you want to guess?
David Schwimmer?
David Schwimmer.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That was not on my radar of.
No, I mean,
I knew Jack Black did some Goosebumps thing, but that's my fault. Well, this game's.
The perfect
game.
Yeah, we don't have the perfect game going anymore, but that's okay. Now I'm actually curious how old Jack Black is. So
let's find out together. That sounds fun. Yeah. I would guess that he's probably 58 is too old, right? So
yeah, 58 does sound a little too old for him.
I would guess that he was not even 30 when the first Tenacious D album came out, which is like 2001. I would say he was probably maybe 30. So
55.
I'll guess 53 is what I'm thinking.
He's got to be born in the 60s. I'm 75. He's got to be at least 5-6 years older than me. I say 55 or 56.
He is precisely 55 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was totally willing to believe he was 58 too, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly close. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what David Schwimmer has been up to. Is he's on season 2.
All right. Very good. U.S. landmarks.
Sorry, I misled you. I apologize.
You know what? I wasn't getting there, so you didn't really do any harm.
U.S. landmarks. There is a 2-point bonus here. The 1883 sonnet, The New Colossus, was cast onto a bronze plaque in the early 20th century and mounted onto what famous U.S. landmark? And your 2-point bonus is who wrote The New Colossus?
Okay.
So it's Emma Lazarus, right? Who wrote it?
On the Statue of Liberty, yeah.
And it's on the Statue of Liberty, yeah. So Statue of Liberty for 3, Emma Lazarus.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, that's one of those things. If you're a trivia person, you should know.
Yes, this is a question
that you should know about Emma Lazarus is that she wrote.
I think I've heard this at Bill's game. At least once before.
Yeah.
Let me check that. I don't know. I mean, I get
mixed up with the number of games that I've played. I just know I've heard it at someone's bar trivia at some point.
Sure.
I don't think Bill would ever repeat a question. That doesn't seem like his style.
Well, but you might ask about Emma Lazarus in a different way. It's something that comes up often enough. A trivia chestnut, if you will.
Sure.
Something that if you're going to play a lot of trivia, you should know.
It's certainly a trivia chestnut. It probably will have come up somewhere else. I'm looking at my files. Not that I care if I recycled it, whatever. It's a trivia chestnut that comes up. But I don't see any live games where it's been used outside of this one. Maybe it came up on the website in
That's context. Very possible.
I just know I've heard it many times.
Yeah.
Well, you got it and you learned it.
Well, let's get our car news.
Yeah, your car news question goes like this. In March of 2024, a man drove what car brand's Model S over 2 million kilometers, becoming the first electric car to travel that far?
Well, the Model S is a Tesla, right? Because it's
model, yes.
Yeah, SE or S3, X, and Y, because they're sexy. What a moron. All right. Well, sorry. I was getting off track there. We're going to go with Tesla for 1.
That is correct. So you missed out on your 2 points on Schwimmer that round, but otherwise got everything.
All right. So we're at 48. Now, what would be the midpoint or halftime handout?
Yeah. So next comes the picture round. And this one will probably be harder for me to recreate on a podcast, but I will tell you that you would be identifying non-Disney Pixar films that won Oscars. So it's
animated films.
Sorry. Yes. Animated films that won. So it's just pictures of animated films.
Okay, so like Shrek 2, I think, was the first movie to win an animated film. So that might be
just Shrek 1, not Shrek 2. Shrek 1.
Oh, was it Shrek 1? Okay, I thought Shrek 2 won the first one.
Yeah,
Okay,
Shrek, the first one won. If you want, I can
And-
just tell you these movies. And you can tell me whether you'd have known them from pictures, so that I can give you a score for it.
Well, I'm gonna throw out some names before you even do that. I
Okay.
know Spirited Away won. I don't know if you have that on there.
I do.
Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit definitely won.
I have that one as well.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won.
I have that as well. There are 8 on here, by the way. 8 pictures.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Luke, can you think of anything else that's not Disney Pixar that won?
Non-Disney one.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio won a couple of years ago.
That is on there.
I'm trying to think of.
Is this any Oscar or Oscar for animated?
The animated feature film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Non-Disney. Oh, not Rio. What's the? Was it Johnny Depp was the voice, the lizard, the chameleon? Rango. That one won.
Good. That's one of them. That's 6 out of 8. If you want to try and guess the last 2 without any pictures.
Happy Feet won one.
That's 7. There's
I don't
one
know
more.
if I got anything else. Let me think.
I can give you a hint. Like, I can describe the picture.
All right, sure. Go ahead.
Because if you were playing this, you would be able to see the picture. So
Yeah.
it's clearly like a Japanese anime film. And
Okay.
There's a young child with a bird.
Oh, last year. That's the one I forgot. It's Miyazaki, The Boy and the Heron. The Boy and the Heron.
That's it.
Last year. Never watched it, but that one last year.
That's 8 out of 8. I'm going to give you all 8 points for that.
All right.
That was
I like
impressive.
That was impressive.
I'm an Oscars buff. I've seen almost every nominee this year. I've only been a total completist in 1 year. So that if I get I have 3 more movies to go to see every nominee this year. Hopefully I'll get there before the Oscars. So
you clearly don't have a 2-year-old son then, because I've seen one movie this year that was nominated for an Oscar, and it was I've seen Wicked because my wife, Wicked is her favorite thing. We've seen Wicked, like the stage show, like 3 times already. And when the movie came out, she has already seen it 5 times, and she needed me to go with her once.
It is a beautifully done film.
I loved it. I loved it.
It really is well done.
I've seen the stage show a couple times, like I said, and wasn't super into it. She likes a lot more than I do, and I like stage shows, so I go anyway, but it's not my favorite. But the movie, I don't know what was so much different, but I loved it. Like, I thought it was great.
All right, let's move on to round 3.
You don't want to hear me talk about Wicked some more?
I mean, I'd love to, but
let me talk about Emily in Paris season 2.
Let's go to round 3 instead.
Round 3, current NHL is your first category.
All right.
Question 2, shared initials.
Okay.
Then we have biographical films.
All right.
And we'll finish round 3, question 4, with big animals.
Big animals. All right.
Okay. Your current NHL question goes like this. I like this question, by the way. I think it's fun. I think all my questions are fun, but here we go. The 2 NHL teams that currently have the most wins in the league are both from cities that begin with the same letter of the alphabet. What is that letter?
Oh, you know what? That is a very accessible question. Now, I know that the Florida Panthers are really good. They won the Stanley Cup last year. You said the most wins?
Yeah, the 2 teams with the most wins, the 1 and 2 in wins this season, they both are from cities that begin with the same letter.
I know the Capitals are doing really well. So, like,
I thought the Jets were also doing quite well.
Oh, well, that would make sense then. The Winnipeg and Washington.
And Winnipeg.
W.
Okay.
Yeah, the Capitals I know
that.
are doing really great. Ovechkin's probably going to pass Gretzky very soon. So let's go with W. You just want the letter W and 7. I like that.
That is the correct answer.
Nice job.
Yeah, good teamwork there.
Your next question, shared initials. For this question, I'm going to give you 3 clues that the answers all have the initials WP.
Okay.
So just give me the answers. If you get 2 of them, you'll get your wager. If you get all 3, you'll get an extra 2 points. Number 1, this eyewear startup founded in 2010 promised to donate 1 pair of glasses for every pair purchased. Number 2, this Quaker founded the 2nd U.S. state. And number 3, this term refers to a V-shaped point in the hairline in the center of the forehead.
Okay, so I think I know all 3 of these, but I'm a little iffy on the name of the glass people. But
that is, well, I don't think that I even know the first one, but the last 2 are easy enough, right?
William Penn, Widow's Peak, right?
Correct. Yep.
And then I think it's Warby Parker. I'm a little iffy on whether Warby is the right first word, but I'm pretty sure it's Parker.
It does sound familiar. So we only need to get 2 of these to get our wager.
Yeah, so we're gonna wager
5,
the
right?
5, right? And then we're gonna hope Warby's right for the 2-point bonus. So
sure.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yep, you're good for all three. Warby Parker, William Penn, and Widow's Peak. Good.
Nice.
Your biographical films question, there's a 2-point bonus here. What 2000 film is a semi-autobiographical account of director Cameron Crowe's experience as a teenage writer for Rolling Stone? And your 2-point bonus, what was the name of the fictional band featured in this movie?
This we got. I know this for sure. I don't know if you...
It doesn't sound familiar.
Well, it's a great movie. There's a great scene in it where they're singing along to Tiny Dancer from Elton John. It is Almost Famous.
Okay.
And the band is the name of the city where Oklahoma State University is located, is Stillwater.
Those are correct on both counts. And you see what I did there? How, like, if you've heard of Almost Famous, you can maybe get in there with the hints. And then you kind of have to have seen the movie to know the band in the movie, right?
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's a wonderful film. So
I like it.
I think I can picture the cover of it. Like, is that the one with somebody wearing sunglasses or something?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You have.
I've seen
Kate
it all the
Hudson.
time. As soon as you said it, I was like, okay. That...
Yeah. Kate Hudson's character of Penny Lane, I believe it's her that's on the cover in the glasses.
Yeah. Was she nominated for an Oscar for that?
I believe she was.
I think so too. I really like that movie. I went through a phase.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, I went through a phase in early college where got really into Oscar movies and started watching a bunch of movies of the last 20 years that were nominated for Oscars and stuff. And that was one that I watched and I really enjoyed. Final question, round 3, big animals. Able to reach a maximum length of 18 meters, Rhinocodon typus is the scientific name for what animal, the largest of all fish?
Okay.
Is this a
fish?
Well, sharks are fish, right?
Oh, yeah. So the whale shark.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
That's you know what? I was totally not even thinking that till you said it. But sharks are fish, and the whale shark is the largest shark. And it's got to be the whale shark. Yeah, whale shark for 1.
That is correct.
Good job. That's why it helps to have a teammate, right? I'm pretty sure I would have missed that without you there.
All right. So you guys have a perfect round 3. I think you're batting a perfect game outside of the David Schwimmer miss.
Yeah, whatever.
I never really.
And now we would have our audio round, right?
Yeah. So the audio round, we play 6 songs, and there's a theme that links them all together. Sometimes it's in the name of the song, sometimes the name of the artist, sometimes it's something the songs have in common. I'm gonna try and sing these songs.
All right. You know what? The musical
stylings
of Bill Patschak, people. Let's see if we can get it.
If it goes terribly, we can cut it from the podcast, but otherwise I'm going to take a shot at this. It'll be dependent on how well I know these songs. I'm actually going to look up some lyrics for these songs and see if I can. I certainly don't know this song. I know the tune, but oh my God, this is going to go so bad. Okay.
I'm going to do so bad at this.
Yeah, I'm not. This is, if it sounds like if it's not 80s hair metal, and for me, if it's not like Gothenburg death metal, then this is not going to be good.
All right. The first song, I'm gonna hum through the title of the song and then say the next line. So, da na 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 na. Do you really want to make me cry?
Oh, wait a minute. That's like a total 80s song.
Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? I mean, I know the song, but I don't know any.
Yeah. It's a total 80s song. Do you really want to make? Oh, there's people are going to be so mad. Wait, do you really want to make? Do you really want to hurt me? Right? Isn't that
that's the lyric before? Do you really want to make me cry? Yeah, but I don't know if that's.
But I mean, isn't that the name of the song? It's like I think it's Culture Club. Do you really want to hurt me?
I redacted the title when I hummed na 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 na. Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or wrong because we're going to do all 6 first, and then you'll
sure because there's a theme.
Because you might be able to back solve if you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So your second song goes like this. 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me because you look so fun and I really want to make you mine.
Oh,
is this Jet?
Yes. Are you going to be my girl?
Yes. There you go.
Okay. So I think the theme right now is they're all questions, right? Do you really want to hurt me? Are you going to be my girl?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're looking for is song titles that are questions. And then we have Culture Club and Jet. Now I could be wrong. There could be something else. It could be a red herring, but that's my first instinct. All right, your next song.
It's always tease, tease, tease. You're only happy on my knees. One day it's fine and next day it's black.
Oh, should I stay or should I go? The Cure, right? Is that the Cure, right? That is the Cure. Right?
I mean, that was your first instinct, right? I don't know. I'm useless when it comes to bands, but that
I think that's the Cure. Sometimes I confuse them with the Cult, but I think that's the Cure. Should I stay or should I go? Yeah, the Cure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Your next song, I need lyrics for this one. This is a song where like Okay, I'm gonna hum the title out because I think that's the most famous part of the song, but I don't want to say the title. So it starts off, ba-na-na-na, da, da, my lovely, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da. I want to know, no, my lovely, bum, 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 bum. I want to know, ba-na-na-na-na-na-na, way-oh. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na, way-oh.
Okay, so I think I might know the song because I think I know the lyric, "Where do you want to go?" or "Where do I go?" or something like that, but I have no idea who sings it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm no help there.
So where do you want to go? I think that's it. Where do you go, or where do you want to go? Oh God, I don't know.
I will say for this one, the version I played at the bar was the original, but I think there is a cover that is as famous. So if you name either band in this case, because you can't differentiate the vocals.
Yeah, I'm gonna say "Where do you want to go?"
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna say the Human League. I don't think that's right, but you know.
All right, your next song. Let's pull up some lyrics. I actually know this song, but I don't know the lyrics. All right, let's see. Now I can mash potato, I can mash potato, I can do the twist, I can do the twist. Now tell me, baby, do you like it like this?
Like this? Do you like it like this? Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love? And I can't sing. Yeah, that's definitely "Do You Love Me." Now the question is, that's like a old 60s song. It's like the something. It's the Penguins, no, the Fortet, no. It's like I think it might be the Contours is the group, is the one that's coming into my head, but I don't know. But that's my
It sounds like a reasonable guess. Yeah,
that's definitely a group from that era, and like that is I think that is them. So all right, so song 6.
Your last song, and forgive me. All right. Well, the party was nice, the party was bumping, yippee-yi-oh, and everybody having a ball.
Who let the dogs out?
Oh yeah, and who is that? Like not the Baja Boys? No, it's the Baja Men.
Yeah, Baja Men.
Yeah, who let the dogs out?
The one song that I know. That's
all right. Well, you know what?
I think you're right on with the question theme.
Yeah,
I think we
so
got
obviously
a solid like 12 here at least.
So the only thing we really don't know is where do you want? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the title there, and I definitely don't know the artist. So
all right, so do we want to go over all your answers, or do you want me to just take what I heard you guys say as your answer?
You take what you heard us say. I think we're good.
Okay, so Do You Really Want to Hurt Me by Culture Club? I think you got both of those.
Yep.
Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet? You got that. Should I Stay or Should I Go? The Clash.
Oh, I knew I was screwing that up.
You had the Cure, Clash, there's Seeds.
Cure, Clash, and then I said the Colts too.
I heard you. It's just very funny because they don't it doesn't sound like the Cure at all.
No, they don't sound at all like each other. It's just the names: Cure, Clash, and Colt.
Yeah, that's fair. So -1 there. You can take this at your discretion. I usually need exact titles, and I don't think you have it. It's called "Where Do You Go?"
I said that. That is not what I wrote down.
Yeah, so I think you said "Where do you want to go?" So
yes, I said both, and then I debated which one was right, and I wrote down "Where do you want to go?"
Yeah, so "Where Do You Go" is the title, and this is a song by LaBouche.
I do not feel bad about not knowing that. Who was the cover?
The cover is by No Mercy.
Oh, all right.
Who are not famous. They just do a cover of "Where Do You Go" by LaBouche, which I think was actually more famous than the LaBouche version. I will say this is a super wheelhouse for me. I'm like a 90s Eurodance fanatic.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. So this is like my 90s Eurodance, like my guilty pleasure. Every audio round, I always throw one in there. I'm like, I know this song. Let's see if anyone else likes music I like. And then Luke will write music rounds for me where I haven't heard of half the stuff that I'm sure he likes, and I throw it out because it's my game.
Yeah. Moby's Porcelain is apparently like
For what it's worth, I listened to Moby's Porcelain after the fact, and I do know that song, but I wouldn't have known the title, and I don't know if anyone would have got it.
And Do You Love Me? It is the Contours, right?
Do You Love Me by the Contours? Good.
Yes.
Who Let the Dogs Out? Baha Men is good, and the theme is worth extra 2 points. All questions, you got that right too. So I think you're a 11 out of 14.
Yes, that is correct. And yeah,
that's not bad for most audio rounds for what it's worth. Usually when I play by myself, I turn in a mostly blank sheet.
Yeah, I definitely it's one of my weaker areas of trivia. So I'm happy to have gotten I'm trying to think. I've lost track of what our score is at this point, but
I have it. I'm keeping track.
Okay. I think we're 5 points off of perfect.
I don't know what perfect is because sometimes I change it up, but I know that you have 87 points.
Okay.
I think you lost 3 on the audio and 2 on the Schwimmer.
Yeah, I think that's it. So
I actually, what I want to do, one of my best venues plays on Tuesday nights, and I'm going to pull up their score sheet. They have about 20 teams there. You can see where you would have been ranking against them. Actually might be fun. So let me pull that up real quick. We need the Tuesday set I'm going to give a shout out to my biggest venue. It's called Brews and Barrels on Tuesday nights. They get over 100 players a week, like 20.
That's awesome.
Teams. Yeah. It's a really good gig. But this one had 19 teams.
Are you still doing any of the Quincy's places?
We're doing Quincy's Potomac, which you have been to.
Yeah.
That still does it. Quincy South closed, and the manager at Quincy South opened his own restaurant called Stella Point Grill, and we do trivia at Stella Point on Tuesday nights. So
all I know is Quincy's is one of the best places I've ever played trivia at. 1, the game was great. 2, they have awesome food.
I think you've been to all 3 Quincy's because
I have.
You went to Quincy's Original, Quincy Potomac, and Quincy South. Quincy's Potomac we have, Quincy South closed, and we're Stella Point. Quincy's Original now does Poorhouse again because they didn't like me, which is you know, like some people like whatever they like, and
different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I don't have any animosity toward them for it. It wasn't working. Like just nobody would show up, and then they switched to Poorhouse, and people started showing up. I guess they just had an issue with me, but it's fine. All right, let's see. You're 87. Yeah, you guys would have a 5-point lead right now in the field of 19 teams.
All right. Well, let's not screw it up.
Yeah, man. All right. Round 4 categories look like this. World geography for round 4, question 1.
Yeah.
Question 2, Oscar history.
I love that.
U.S. cities is your third question.
I like that.
And we'll finish with early 20th century history.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all these.
Yeah.
All right. Here's your world geography question. A 2-point bonus on this as well. The world's most densely populated region, what special administrative region of China is known as the Las Vegas of the East and is home to the world's largest gambling industry?
It's got to be Macau, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's our 2-point bonus? Sorry.
The 2-point bonus is, do you want me to just reread the whole thing for the podcast purposes?
Sure.
Yeah. The world's most densely populated region, what special administrative region of China is known as the Las Vegas of the East and as it is home to the world's largest gambling industry? And the 2-point bonus on here, this region was formerly a colony of what European nation?
It was Portugal, I think.
That sounds correct.
Yeah, I think Hong Kong was the UK and Macau was
Portugal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go Macau for 7 and Portugal.
That is correct on both counts.
All right.
Oscar history. In 2018, what MCU film made history by becoming the first superhero movie to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar? And there is a 2-point here. This film ended up taking home 3 Oscars. I need you to name any one category that this film won Oscars for.
Okay.
So it's Black Panther.
Yep.
And it won for, it might have won for costume and hair. I'm trying to think of what else it won for. I know that I'm almost positive it was costumes that it won for. And I think it might have also won for hair. That was one of the years where I was a completist. Was the 20? No, actually, that was the because that was the best costume design. I feel confident
that would make sense. Yeah,
I'm trying to think if it won score. I think it might have won score, and I think it won hairstyling too, but I'm not sure. But costume design is the one I'm most positive of. So let's go best costume design.
What's your wager?
Oh, 5 because Black Panther is 100% right.
Black Panther is correct. It won 3 Oscars in the categories of production design, original score, and costume design. So you are good.
Yes. Okay. Like when you didn't give costume design as one of the I'm like, was it hair? And production design I did not remember.
I got to keep the suspense up. Let's move on. U.S. cities coming up next. The U.S. city of Dothan, Dothan, not a city I've heard of, but it exists. It is known as the peanut capital of the world, as it produces roughly 1/4 of all U.S. peanuts and hosts an annual National Peanut Festival. In what southern U.S. state would you find Dothan, or however you might say it?
Okay.
Well, so I am from Chicago, which is where I currently live, but I did live for a few years down in Georgia, and I know Dothan's not in Georgia, but I know it's somewhat near the Gulf Coast in Alabama. So there you go. We're going to go with Alabama for 3 points.
Luke, are you okay with that?
I am fine. I mean, I would have, I would have just immediately went to Georgia, but he knows where this place is, so I'm not going to argue
I mean,
that.
I'm almost positive that Dothan is in Alabama. Like,
Go for it.
I think I've driven by a sign on the interstate for Dothan.
Dothan is in Alabama. That is 3 points. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have gotten that wrong because I just associate like peanuts and Georgia.
If I had not lived in Georgia and driven enough in Alabama over the last 4 years, I would have gotten that wrong too.
Yeah, that's a.
I will say, fun story about this one. I have a writer. I have 2 writers that send me like 10 questions a week for my live game, and I repurpose anything they send me if I don't think it's good for the live game because I've gotten so used to repurposing questions in that way. And this guy, at least once or twice a week, he'll send me a question that is just completely inaccessible, and I have to refocus it. So I'm pretty sure his original question was just like, "What Alabama city is the Peanut Festival every year?"
Yeah. No, you can't ask it like that.
And I'm like, what?
No,
yeah.
So I take pride in being able to like rearrange his questions into something that's actually like fun.
That is a much more accessible question.
My favorite question that he sent me. This is incredible, and I always make fun of him for it. He said, "In what U.S. city was the first Chinese restaurant opened?"
So it's in Montana. Well, I'm not sure if it's in Montana.
Wait a minute.
I think the oldest, it might be San Francisco, the first one open, but I think the oldest continuously run one is in like Billings, Montana, or something like that.
It is in Montana. That's amazing because this is so difficult. But it's not Billings.
No, it's not Billings. Okay, it's not Bozeman. It's not Helena. It's what is it? You know why I know this? Jeffrey Seguritan went to that Chinese restaurant.
Do you remember what it was called?
On a road trip, and he posted about it on Facebook, and it came up in another trivia thing at some point, and I got it right. And I got it right because of him.
Yeah, it's called the Peking Noodle Bar. It's in Butte, Montana.
Butte. Okay. Yeah.
But his question that he sent me was, in what city? Didn't even say Montana. Just like, in what city was the first Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, I know.
Everyone says San Francisco, because like, that's just a fine guess.
Because if it's not San Francisco, it's a bad question.
Yeah, and it is a bad question.
Yeah, if it's San Francisco, it's acceptable. Like it's not horrible because you can just logically infer it. Like I have a thing where like a bad question is you don't ask how many, like if I ask you how many Grammy Awards has Diana Ross won? That's a bad question, right? Unless the answer is one of 2 things, 0 or 1.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah, the Trivial Pursuit rule, I call it.
You can ask that question. If it's anything other than that, you can't ask that question. And she's won 0 competitive Grammys, right?
There you go.
You can ask that question. Like I once played a game where the question was asked, how many Grammys has Nickelback won? Or maybe it was even how many they were nominated for. It was something ridiculous like that. And the answer was like 7. But it was like, nobody's going to know that.
No,
even Nickelback won't know that.
Nickelback probably doesn't keep track.
Yeah. Like, it's just, and I've gotten so used to this over the years. Like if somebody writes how many dimples are on a golf ball, instead of asking that, you just say there are 338 dimples on what piece of sporting equipment. And you've learned the same fact and quizzed the same people, but have made it accessible.
Exactly.
How You Remind Me band has been nominated for 7 Grammys.
Yeah.
Now we know how many. Yeah. So like it's
I think that people from Butte, Montana would disagree with the accessibility of that question in particular.
You know what? If you're asking the question in Butte, Montana, then you know what? Then it's not a horrible question.
So here's what I like to do is I like to take his question that I thought was bad and like make it a 2-point bonus so I can get stats on how it would have played originally.
Sure.
So I reversed this. I said like the Peking Noodle Bar was the first of what type of restaurant for your wager? And the answer was Chinese restaurant. Everyone got their points. The 2-point bonus is in what city was this bar? And I had 5 venues, 0 teams got it.
Sure.
And I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, I literally have stats say no one got. Did you think this was gettable? And like, I'm paying this guy to write questions for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I appreciate you trying, but like when I'm giving you money, like think about, and he does every week, there's just something that's completely inaccessible.
It's the difference between trivia and trivial, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I just like, and I've gotten good at like restructuring everything he sends me to make it accessible, but sometimes my head explodes and I have to email him and make him feel bad, which I feel bad because like I appreciate that he's doing work for me and I think he's trying his best, but like I'm just like, dude, like how did you think that's fine.
All right. Early 20th century,
Early 20th century history goes like this. In 1919, a storage tank in Boston's North End neighborhood ruptured and killed 21 people by flooding the area with what substance?
This I know.
Is this molasses?
It is molasses.
Okay.
Yeah, molasses for one.
Good. Trivia chestnut, maybe?
Yep. That
Yeah.
is exactly what that is.
Yeah. Okay, so after round 4, we do a thing called the 3-part question. It is a question with 3 different answers. You do not need a wager. You just come up with 3 answers and you get 3 points per correct response with a total of 9 points available if you get everything correct. All right, here's your 3-part question. TV actor Joel McHale has starred in the leading role of 3 different TV sitcoms: an NBC sitcom that ran for 110 episodes from 2009 to 2015, a CBS sitcom that ran for 22 episodes in 2016, and a current Fox sitcom whose 3rd season premiered last month. I need you to name those 3 shows for 3 points each.
Okay, so Community, obviously, right?
That's the one that I am certain on.
Yeah, the new one is Animal Control.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you what was it? 22 episodes, you said?
A CBS sitcom that ran for 22 episodes in 2016, and he was the lead role.
Yeah, that's not going to be something that we're going to get. So
yeah, I don't even have a guess for that.
The Joel McHale Show.
So these 3-part questions are designed in a way that the 3 answers are as close to easy, medium, hard as I can possibly get. So your easy one is Community, which you guys will get for 3 points. The next one is the current on its 3rd season, Animal Control. I'm calling medium because of its recency and the fact that it ran for 3 seasons. The hard one is the one from 8 years ago that ran for 1 season and didn't do anything. I can't believe this is 8 years old. I feel like it was recent, but this is called The Great Indoors.
Oh, does he run like an REI type store or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I never actually watched it, but I've seen trailers.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. And by the way, my trivia, the Brain Bash trivia that I've been running in Chicago forever, my final question is exactly this type of question, right? It's a 3-answer question, but you wager on it, but you only have to get 2 out of 3 right to get your wager. But if you can get all 3, I give you double your wager. And if you fail to get 2, you lose your wager.
Can you guess it? Can you guess at all 3?
Yes. And my goal is to have an easy, medium, hard type question. So that's exactly the type of, that'd be a perfect question for one of my finals.
It sounds like we should be doing some exchange then on at least those questions specifically.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might have some good Brain Bash finals for you.
Yeah, and I might have some good, what do you call them, pick 3 or?
I call it the 3-part question.
Yeah.
When I started,
I definitely have some great 3-part questions for you.
When I started originally, I was experimenting with different things. I tried to do like you know how O'Brien's does the Alan Bailey question, as they call it?
Absolutely.
Sometimes I try to, so for those of you that don't know the Alan Bailey question, this is like a 3-clue question where the first clue is hard, the second is medium, the third is easy, and you get more points if you go earlier. The Alan Bailey might have 5 clues, but the concept is it's kind of quiz ball-esque, like pyramid question in that sense. Yeah. So I experimented with that. I experimented with just running something like the Warby Parker, where I just have 3 things and you get 3 points for each. But I like this, trying to find easy, medium, hard with 3 answer questions.
I like that as well. My favorite, by the way, one of those is there are 3 countries in the world that lie on the equator that have names starting with a vowel. Name them.
You paused. You said there are 3 countries in the world that lie on the equator. And I'm like, no, there's like 13.
Yeah, that have a name starting with a vowel.
Okay, I'm going to say Ecuador is the easy one.
Yeah.
Ecuador is the easy one. That means equator.
Okay. Luke, do you want to help me get this?
Yeah, I mean, does it go through Uganda?
It's close, if not through it. I feel very confident that it goes through Indonesia. Like, I think that
would make sense. Yeah.
I think that's like where it is, and it is a vowel, and I think that might be the medium one. Uganda is a good 3rd one. I think there are 13 countries. Like, I think that's just like a number I know, but I don't want to list all the countries. Uganda sounds good. I'm trying to think if there's anything in that vicinity that would be a better guess. Uganda's just so small. That
is true. Yeah, it is teeny tiny, but it is right around there.
Yeah, Ethiopia is close, but I think it's too far north.
No, that's definitely too far north, I think.
Yeah. Is there anything bigger, at least north to south, bigger than Uganda in Africa? Because I don't think it's anything else. Yeah, for sake of time, we'll guess Uganda, Indonesia, and Ecuador.
Well, Ecuador is the easy one, and Indonesia is meant to be the medium one, and that is correct. You failed to mention Equatorial Guinea. Yeah, which I mean is a really hard one, but also wrong because it
doesn't go through it. Yeah,
Equator doesn't go through Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah, okay. I was
So
gonna
the
say,
correct
I was like,
one
wait a
is
minute.
the correct one is Uganda.
Okay.
So well done. You
Luke
got
is
all
a
three.
trivia master is the thing.
Yeah.
If I had thought of Equatorial Guinea, I definitely would have put it.
Oh yeah. That's the thing with that is like it almost punishes you for knowing too much but not enough because you're like, well, it's Equatorial Guinea. It has to be on the equator. It's very close. It's just not on.
I feel like I might preface that question by saying it's not Equatorial Guinea because it feels neg-baity, but maybe it's
is. It's a little neg-baity, but most people don't even know that's a country. So
sure. Well, that means you're like giving advantage to teams who've never heard of Equatorial Guinea.
Well, like... but the people that have heard of it are smart enough to know, like Luke, for instance, who knew it wasn't on the equator, right?
That's why I didn't even say it because I was like, I just know it isn't, so I'm not going to put it out there. And I also just know the answer was Uganda.
So
did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you did a good job.
Say the wrong answer.
Well, it made it sound like you were guessing. You're like, what about you?
You definitely didn't sound like you were 100%.
That's how I pose everything, though, because I'm not. I don't know. You're smarter than me. I assume that you also like. If I said that, you would just be like, "That's what it is," and we would move on.
Well, for what it's worth, it's a different conversation that we can have. But I am not smarter than you. I know more trivia than you, which is different. And Jeremy knows this.
That is very different.
Wait. No, you are smarter than me, and also know more trivia than me.
It's possible
both of these
you
things
could
can
be
be true.
But
they
are two different things.
Yeah, they're very different things.
No.
Yeah. I would argue that I am the least smart person in my family, but I know way more trivia than anyone in my family.
I might be in the same boat. I don't know. And Bill and I both know people who are wonderful. Well, I don't know if wonderful is the word, but some of the best trivia players on the planet who are otherwise idiots.
Jeff King?
I won't name names.
Jeff King.
I think earlier in this, I thought that we said Jeff King was brilliant.
He knows a lot of trivia and he's gotten very good in his environment. So he's normally we don't, you know what? This doesn't need to be a Jeff King podcast, but
no, I like Jeff King.
I love Jeff.
I also like Jeff.
He's a great guy.
This should be a Jeff King podcast.
Can we start a Jeff King podcast where every episode we just share anecdotes?
Talk about Jeff King.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get former Pittsburgh Pirates first baseman Jeff King to be on it.
We could also get, I think there's like a dog sled racer from Iditarod that like named Jeff King because I think Jeff has a signed picture of him in his apartment.
Well, when I wrote my 50 state quiz, I believe Jeff King, the baseball player, played at the University of Arkansas. And I think when I wrote the Arkansas quiz, I put a question in there about Jeff King, like, you know.
And I think you said like, and a BPtrivia player has this.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know Jeff King, he's a delight and you should meet him. He
really is, actually. He's a good guy.
He is eligible to be on Jeopardy and has not gotten on yet. And if he gets on, he will make a lot of noise.
Yeah, he would be so good. All right, so we are at least up 5 points going into the final because we didn't miss anything in that
we're doing very well.
Yeah, this is going very well. I can check it actually right now. You guys are at 113. It looks like the team that was in first at the other venue was at a 108 here. So you guys are
all right. So we're still up 5. So they were also perfect in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we did have 1 of 19 get all 3 on the Joel McHale.
Oh, actually, we're not perfect.
We
missed the So
here are your round 5 categories. We're opening with Beatles songs. Talk about the Beatles earlier.
Was this round 5 or is this the final?
Round 5.
Oh, I forgot there was a 5th. Okay.
Yeah.
Beatles songs. Okay.
Beatles songs. We have an anagram question every game. So your anagram question is next.
Okay.
You're allowed pen and paper for this and 3 minutes if you want to do that when we get there.
Round 5. Hand.
There you go. Round 5, question 3, scientific studies.
Okay.
And we'll finish off with NBA firsts.
All right. Outside of scientific studies, I feel good about the other 3.
Okay, good, because I feel like I like scientific studies and all that other stuff is not great. So, all right, let's go.
Here's your Beatles question, along with a 2-point bonus. Covered by Marvin Gaye, En Vogue, and Ray Charles, among others. According to Guinness, what Beatles tune with a single word title is the most covered song of all time? And a 2-point bonus on this is this song originally had what 2-word working title?
Okay, so the song is Yesterday.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if I know, like, I've heard this before, but I don't think I'm going to come up with what the original title was. It's something totally ridiculous. Like I'm not going to come up with it, but I know it's like, I think it's like something you would eat. It's like a food thing. Like, it's
nothing like in the lyrics of the song.
No, I don't think
just something wacky. Okay.
I don't know. It's a English muffin. It's like a food thing. I don't know. We're gonna say yesterday an English muffin.
But you're doing so well. You don't want to take time to try and figure it out. Everything you said is correct.
I know everything I said is correct, and I also know I'm not gonna get there.
That's a shame. Luke, do you want to try and trivia this out? It is a food item, and it is like weird, and it fits yesterday. Like it fits that cadence, that melody.
Seems so far away.
All right, that's fine. You're not gonna get it. You'll get
Yeah.
your wager. I'm gonna assume you bet 7 on that. You sounded
Yeah,
confident.
7. Yeah,
I
sorry.
did spoil the answer there for you. I apologize. We had 6 of 19 get the bonus here at the other venue.
Oh wow.
So I think it's just a trivia nugget, and I guess people are gonna
Yeah,
beat us.
no, I mean I've heard this before. I should know it. I'm just not. It's not in my head at the moment.
Yeah, the answer is scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've totally heard that, and it just I would never have gotten it in the time you allot for a question, right? So like, not gonna try.
That's fair. Let's move on to your anagram. For this anagram question, I will give you a category and an anagram to solve, where you mix up the letters to come up with your answer. If you turn in a correct response within 3 minutes, you'll get a 2-point bonus on top of your wager. If you don't, I'll give you a clue to the answer that basically will spoon feed it for you. So keep that in mind. Today, we're looking for a Broadway musical, and the anagram is Innermost Ghetto.
Innermost Ghetto.
I'll spell that for you just in case. INNERMOST GHETTO, and I'll put a 3-minute timer on.
Innermost Ghetto. If I take the, we have like an ing in there. We have a the in there. Trying to think of like words that are I can spell out of there. There's mother is in there. Short is in there. Moon is in there. Are you seeing anything?
No, I'm looking. I'm very bad with anagrams.
I'm usually pretty good. Is it? No, it's not Book of Mormon. I say there's not 2 M's. There's no B. There's no K. Storm, tooth. Just trying to say words that I see in there. Green. If we take out the, you have like the storming, the horse is in there. Man, it's really going to bug me that we're not going to get the 2-point bonus.
Got about 90 seconds left.
Oh, we're only halfway there. Well, maybe we will. Why am I not seeing? Room is in there. Broadway musical. Stone is in there. Morning is morning in there. Morning is in there. Oh, wait, spring. No, springtime's not in there. In the Heights. Is it in the Heights? Wait, no.
Yeah, I saw Heights,
Not
but
not in the Heights. There's not 2 H's anyway. Yeah. I got excited there for a second. That was
About 30 seconds.
yeah. Oh man. Tonight is in there. Emotion. God, this is so gonna bug me. Go correct. Huh. Not gonna get it.
Yeah, I'm calling time on that, unfortunately.
Yeah. What's our other hint?
Yeah, so here's your clue for the musical, which I think is not a super famous musical, so I'm not surprised you did not get it. This musical about 2 brothers who try to upstage Shakespeare and write the next best stage play takes its name from a line in Hamlet that reads, "Blank is blank in the state of Denmark."
Something's rotten. Damn it.
It's
I've not heard of
it's actually just Something Rotten, but yes.
Oh yeah. I would have.
Yeah, Something Rotten is the
Something
name of
rotten.
the show.
Yeah. That's a great. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm looking to see how many people got this. It was about 5 or 6 got this for the anagram, and then there were a couple teams that didn't get it after the fact either. But
Yeah,
we-
I've never heard of this.
We
musical.
gave back 4 points already, so at best we could be up 1 here if the team that was chasing us got those 4 points. So we got to get these next 2.
yeah, we'll see what happens. Here's your third question of the round: scientific studies. Though they are similar, the studies of entomology and etymology focus on very different subjects. Identify what either entomology or etymology is the study of. If you get both of them, you'll get a 2-point bonus.
Okay, so entomology is the study of insects and
word origins.
word origins. Yeah, so
Yeah.
insects and word origins.
Yep.
Wager?
What's our most?
Maximum
I
allowed.
guess
Three,
whatever our
probably.
highest left is 3, right? Because we
Yeah.
got
Yep, you're good. Both of those are right. Insects and words is what I have. And I gave you the 5 on the anagram. It sounded like
yeah,
that.
exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
NBA first is your final category of the round. Adding to his already long list of records, what did LeBron James do on October 22nd, 2024 that no other player had ever done?
Well, you're a huge fan, so
I know. I'm
I'll
trying
wait
to
until
think
you-
of like what he did. I mean, so that's just last year, he already set the scoring record. What did he do on October 24th, 2024?
Is this something like not basketball related, possibly?
Gotta be basketball related. Like,
Okay.
did he score? Oh, that's it. He scored his 30,000th point because he already had the scoring record. He just became the first to ever score 30,000 points. That's gotta
Okay.
be it. Yeah. He scored his 30,000th point.
Wager? Oh, there's only
One.
one wager.
We only have
Only
one
one.
left. Yeah.
You are not correct.
Oh.
Unfortunately. First of all, I think it would be 40,000 if it was a scoring thing.
Oh,
right?
maybe you're right.
But
Yeah,
either
yeah,
way,
yeah.
that is not the answer.
Yeah.
So on October 22nd, 2024, which is my son's second birthday. Yep.
Named after my childhood hero, Ozzie Smith.
Not named after, but the same name.
I mean, I like to say he was named after in my honor.
That's fine.
So, yeah.
As a hint, LeBron did this on my son's second birthday.
He did. He
happy birthday to
Oh,
Ozzie.
did he play an NBA game at like 42? Is he the oldest? No, he's not the oldest player in the history of the NBA.
Surely you know this happened. I'm starting to worry. You want me to tell you the answer?
Yeah, what did he do?
He took the court with his son.
Oh,
okay.
No player's ever done that. He's the first player ever to play basketball with his son.
yeah, okay.
You hate it? You hate it?
No, I hate that it was, you know what it was? It was too damn easy and I way overthought it.
I've learned that I'm not allowed to say that anymore. That a question is too obvious or too easy.
There's no such thing.
No, it's obviously it's not because I missed it. But of course I know that. And by the way, no NBA player's done it, but it's happened twice in Major League Baseball and once in the NHL. And I can name you all the instances. And yeah, of course I know that. Yeah.
Well, 16 of 19 teams knew it, but not you guys.
Yeah, no, yeah. So now we're at risk for being tied, by the way. So
yeah, let's see what the scores look like. So you missed the LeBron question, despite being the biggest LeBron fan in the chat.
Wait a minute.
yeah, that's bad.
You guys are at 130 is what I have for you. The scores from the venue, the team in first is at 126.
Woo, all right.
Yeah, we're fine.
So you're still
We're
leading.
good. We got a 4-point lead going into the final.
Yeah, so we have one final question. The final question works differently in that you can wager anywhere from 0 to 15 points in the final. 15 is your max wager. And on the final, if you get it wrong, you will lose whatever you wager. I will read the question first, and you can decide what you want to wager after the fact.
Well, our wager is 12, unless we don't know, right? Because 126 can go to 141, so we got to go to 142 to lock them out. And we don't have a perfect game, so there's no point in wagering the max.
That sounds good. So here's your category in question. Inventors and inventions is your category. Here's your question. A year after winning the Nobel Prize in Physics, in 1910, what man's invention assisted Scotland Yard in the capture of a murderer escaping to North America across the Atlantic?
Okay, so, oh God. My first thought, which I think is totally wrong, was the X-ray and William Röntgen, because I don't know how that would help somebody catch somebody.
Yeah, I think first one maybe too.
Yeah,
so I think he's a little early.
I don't think the guy that invented the metal detector won one. So my other thought is Marconi for the radio, because that could be a device. But did he win? Like, I don't know that he won.
I don't know that.
Like, I'm not sure if he won, but I don't have a better answer. Like, do you know of any?
Yeah. No, I'm racking my brain. That's a good guess. I don't know why. What year was this? 1910?
1910, you said, right? Or, well, he won the Nobel in 1910, I think, or something.
A year after he won the Nobel Prize in 1910, he assisted.
Okay,
So,
yeah. So he won in
1909,
1910, and you
Does
said
that
he
fit his
assisted.
time frame? Is he alive then?
Definitely the right time frame for him. I just don't know if he won a Nobel Prize, but like, because you said he assisted in. Repeat the question just real quick.
Sure. A year after winning the Nobel Prize in Physics, in 1910, what man's invention assisted Scotland Yard in the capture of a murderer escaping to North America across the Atlantic?
Yeah. So like, the radio is a device that could help in catching a murderer who's escaping across the Atlantic, right?
Yeah.
And that's like Marconi, right? So
yeah, I
don't
think it's a great guess. I don't have anything better.
I would think I would know if he won a Nobel, and I just don't. Like, and the name isn't ringing a bell for winning a Nobel, but I don't have a better answer. And I think we have to wager the 12 because we got to go for the win. So I say we go Marconi for 12.
Sure.
The answer to the question is Guglielmo Marconi.
There you go.
You'll finish the game with a 142, which puts you ahead of the winning team at the venue, who had a 141.
All right.
So that's your game.
Well
That's
done.
my game.
Yeah, no, that's great. I had a lot of fun. It's a good game. It's a great game. People in the Maryland area should check out BP Trivia Live, and people not in the Maryland area should get on bptrivia.com and sign up, right? Like it's only like $5 a month or something. Like it's pretty reasonable, I think, right?
Yeah, your first month is free if you want to check us out. We do a championship series every month on the online website game. It's 15 match days for the first 3 weeks of the month. You play 7 questions a day, gives you something to do. You have all day to think about it. There's leaderboards, there's ranks, and then after your first month, if you want to keep playing, it's $5 a month or $50 for the year. We have about 500 or 600 people that are playing right now, which is cool. A lot of the biggest names in trivia play, like we said, Victoria, we said Brandon. For anyone who's on Learned League, which is the standard right now of online trivia leagues, they have about 30,000 players. But we have Troy Meyer plays our game. He recent Jeopardy guy, has won 5 or 6 times. Patrick Friel plays our game. I think he might have won a Learned League championship.
He did win a Learned League scarf, in fact. Yeah, a couple of years ago. He's another trivia luminary, as I like to say. Yeah, a lot of great people. I play it. I'm not a great. I'm a very good trivia player. I'm just not in the elite level that Troy and Victoria are.
Well, like and I'm hoping that the game has something for everyone. I know Luke was playing for a while. Now that he's writing, it sounds like he's just kind of looking along with the questions. But Luke, did you enjoy playing, even though you're not an Omega champion?
Yeah, no, it's a ton of fun. I highly recommend anybody play it. I have a lot of my friends that also play it, and even though they're not the elite of elite players as well, they still really enjoy playing every day.
And no matter what state you're from, you can go back and play the old state quiz from your state that I wrote for BP Trivia. So,
Yeah, that was so awesome. You did that, by the way, 50 quizzes. I'm going to have to bug you again to write me some more stuff. I always like
I would love to. We'll have to come up with another idea for, I don't know, there's 30 baseball teams. I don't know. There's something. We'll come up with something.
It might be fun to do like take every baseball team, but do like a general knowledge quiz where if you do a St. Louis Cardinals quiz, you have some questions on St. Louis, some questions about Cardinals, some questions about like not even just the birds, maybe
no. In fact, I have a quiz that's going to be on Learned League next month in the next off season. It's called a stuff quiz. It's a quiz about stuff.
Like stuff?
I took the word stuff and I wrote 15 questions, of which 12 will be, it's already written. People have already started giving me feedback. And so if you can think of questions using the word stuff, I asked 12 questions about stuff. So there'll be stuff you know, stuff you don't know, and stuff maybe you'll learn. But
cool. Yeah, those quizzes are always fun. I did a Learned League quiz a couple of years, probably almost a decade ago now. It was called Champions, and it was all about things with like champion in the title. Like I asked about Breakfast of Champions, and
it's not going to be a sports quiz necessarily. It's just going to be something. I like to do that sometimes. Take a word and let it just ruminate and come up with some questions based on that word.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
well thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for giving me a game, and everybody go check out bptrivia.com. And, I'm going to, next week, I'm talking to, have you played, is it Soul Mine Trivia? I'm trying to remember what the name is now.
Doesn't sound familiar, so no.
They're a DC outfit, and let me get the name here real quick.
How do you know
they're relatively new. So I have been creating a database. So I want quizzinginamerica.com to be a database of trivia nights all over North America, Canada, US. And so I have a database of like 160 plus trivia companies, Soul Brain Trivia. They're based out of DC. I think they're relatively new, but I'm recording an episode with them on Monday. And on Tuesday, I'm recording with Paul Paquette from the Ottawa Trivia League. And I've got Muffy Morocco in LA and Liz Quisnell in Pittsburgh. And I'm just going to be hitting up Lynn Q in LA.
Lynn U or Lynn Q.
Lynn QU. Yeah. We'll have to edit that so it makes sense. But you ought to know. You ought to know. I get confused. I'm an old man now, Bill. I'm 50.
I know, yeah.
Happens. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We'll be back next time. Keep listening, keep quizzing. If you ever want to be on, if you run a quiz, let me know. If you play a quiz, you want to come on and play with me, let me know. And we'll have a way for you to let me know too. We'll put it in the show notes. So there you go.